Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast.
Good morning and welcome to the ordinary daily version of the Ordinary Marathoner podcast that is no longer daily, so maybe I shouldn't call it that. It's funny, I was thinking about that today. I'm like, all right, so we're going to do 2 podcasts a week, right? Monday or Tuesday, and then we'll follow it up on a Thursday and Friday. We'll do one. Did you get that? Did you figure that out? Did I not? So we'll do either Monday or Tuesday, we'll have one podcast. And then Thursday or Friday, we'll have the second podcast. Then we're going to try to do a third one with a guest every week. We'll see how that works out, that schedule. But that's the plan. I can't call it the Ordinary Daily Podcast. And I think the Ordinary Bi-Weekly podcast is also kind of a bad phrase. Number one, it sounds awful, just doesn't go. But number two, I never really knew is bi-weekly, is it technically 2 per week, or would that be 1 every 2 weeks? I don't know. There's always confusion for me. I don't like confusion. So we're just going to go back. We're going to just start calling this the Ordinary Marathoner podcast again. So welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I will be your host today, Friday, August 16th. I got a lot going on with the podcast. Got a lot going on training-wise, with races. We are entering sort of that hotbed marathon season. You guys have been training hard, and this is like that really cool part of the year where that anticipation starts building, that anxiety, those long runs really set in. You got to get out there in the humidity and the heat. You got to practice your nutrition, practice everything, get ready for race day. This is an exciting time for a lot of people. Now, we did talk about the podcast quickly. We did the Ironman Lake Placid recap. I am still getting great feedback from that podcast. I always get a little nervous when I kind of put myself out there. Get a little emotional during that one. It was, it's kind of like, it's one of those things where I'm like, stay tough. And I kind of, you talk about your daughter in moments like this, and it's just going to bring out sort of that, you just get a little choked up. So I get a little nervous putting that stuff out there, and especially, I got to tell you, with the whole issue about the 58 seconds, look, number one, I am over it. I consider myself an Ironman 100% from that race. The feedback I've gotten, incredibly supportive. And look, I got to be honest, I was going to consider myself an Ironman anyway. From this race, like I said, Mike Riley called me an Ironman. I'm an Ironman. And I know that finishing in 17 hours, 0 minutes, and 58 seconds, that there are going to be people out there that are not on board with that take. And I'm fine with that. And I've said that. I'm totally fine with that. I guess the things I fear the most, and I think that most of you people that are in the social media eye, and you've had to deal with this from time to time, is that for every 100 comments that are supportive and genuine and genuinely kind, and I don't know, they're just, they're great people reaching out to you and saying nice things. You get 1 or 2 that are negative, that are sometimes ridiculous. And unfortunately, it's those ones that you typically remember and that stay with you. And they kind of hurt at times. Now, I got to say, I've been waiting for that one. I've been waiting for it, and I haven't gotten it. So I feel pretty good still. And like, I know where to go to get it if I really wanted to. And I should just do it just for an experiment. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. If someone posts it there, then that's fine. I'll let them attack me as they will. But it's been overwhelming, the support I've gotten from that podcast. So thank you guys for reaching out. And that, within that group, my friends, my family, people that I know very well, whether I met through Ordinary Marathoners or not. And then there's these people that I've never met before, that I've never heard of before. I don't know them. And they reach out and they say a kind thing. And I got to tell you, those are my favorite. Because you didn't have to, you know what I mean? You didn't have to go and do that. You watched the podcast, you enjoyed the podcast, you liked moments of it, whatever you did. You didn't have to go the extra mile and reach out and say something, but you did, and it means a lot. So I just want to say that. I'm not getting choked up over that though. I promise no more tears. No more Dick Vermeil tears for me. I'll try at least. What else we got? So then we did the podcast with Charlie Duffy. Now, Charlie was a first-time Ironman. That podcast came out yesterday. I'm already getting great feedback on that one as well. I got to tell you, I thought I was going to overwhelm this place with Ironman, especially because this weekend I got another Ironman Lake Placid finisher coming on. But her story is going to, I think it's going to be even more interesting than the two I've already told. Sorry, Charlie. But we'll get to that in a second. Charlie was able to kind of, this is the thing that I loved about Charlie, was because it was his first time doing Ironman. And because he was so familiar with the neighborhood and having vacation there a number of times, he had like this different. He had that sort of freshman first year anticipation, anxiety, and it was just great to hear him say it. Because it kind of brought me back to my first time. I know what you're thinking. That's not what I mean. But it brought my first time doing an Ironman, and sort of relive and rehash and feel again that anticipation of standing on that beach just before the gun, and being in that town where they make you feel so special. Being an athlete involved in the Ironman, it was really kind of great for him to kind of communicate that feeling as a first timer, and it sort of made me relive it all over again. And there's sort of a brotherhood that you get with Ironman, and a lot of you guys that have reached out to me who have done Ironman before, you feel it, right? You feel it. It's like something happens to you when you finish this race. It's like you're part of a group of people that just kind of understand what that's about and have done it. And look, it's all supportive and good, and the doors are open for any newbies. Like that's what I love about the sport too. It's like people accomplish it and then they're like, oh, it was so great. I just want everyone to be able to feel that way. And the door is open and for the most part, 99% of it is supportive, trying to, draw you in. If you want to do this, it's out there for you, that kind of thing. So I love talking to Charlie, and I'm going to love talking to our guest this weekend. Her name is Grace Lindell. She's a 19-year-old, Ironman triathlete. She's going to be here with her father. She came in third in her age group in Lake Placid. What she was most known for me, was that when you drove the course and you're out there on the course, her family, her supporters, her friends must have bought all the chalk in Lake Placid and wrote "Go Grace," all supportive message, all in the streets, way out on the bike course. It was, I don't think I've ever seen such support on the course for one athlete. And I wrote a comment on the Ironman Lake Placid board, like, "Hey, who is this Grace?" That was all written, and everyone knew who I was talking about. And now, next thing you know, she's going to be on the podcast, and I'm really looking forward to having her on. And 19-year-old, I tell you, when I was 19, when I was 19, I was a freshman in college. Probably one of the few moments in life where I could actually run 5 miles. But if I ran 5 miles, I would have treated it like I had, broken the tape at the New York City Marathon at that point in my life. It just was such a ridiculous accomplishment that I couldn't comprehend running 5 miles. So to do it felt like I was just beating the world. And hey, that's great. That was great for where I was in life. This girl did a full Ironman at 19 years old. That is crazy. That is crazy. And we're going to talk to her about it this weekend. I'm really looking forward to having her on. The podcast guest is so funny. Like I go through periods of time where I'm like I don't necessarily actively seek out guests. I like having them on. I do, if I'm in the course of conversation with people, I might invite them on. But after this Lake Placid event, like I have really I have a list of like 6 people. One of them is super exciting. I got to tell you, for me personally, they're all exciting in their own right. One of them is a kind of guest that if I get him on, I'm going to be like, I'll be like like a kid, trying to get an autograph. Okay, please, can you sign this, sir? Yeah, it will humble me greatly if I have this guy on. But still, we've reached out to him. It's a possibility. I would put the odds at 20%. I'm not even going to say his name, but it's just one of those guests that I'm like, and if the guy that set me up with this possibility hooks me up here, I'm going to owe him for a long time, and he knows it too. But we'll see how it works. Hopefully you can reel this guy in. It would be really exciting. I'm giddy. I don't know if you could tell. This is me when I'm giddy. Not that I'm not giddy for everybody else too, but this guy, you'll understand. You'll understand if we do rope him in. It'll be really exciting. So I want to talk a little bit about training because now I'm starting to get back into training mode. I took 2 weeks off after Lake Placid. The second week wasn't really planned. I kind of really wanted to get into it a little bit sooner, but I had, my blisters are still healing from Lake Placid. They still are now, but I'm finally able to kind of get on my feet and run, and it doesn't really bother me anymore, but they're still healing. I'm doing the coaching thing, guys. The coaching thing is starting. It's starting. I've gotten some inquiries. Now I'm coaching right now. I'm coaching Stefany for the Marine Corps Marathon and her friend Aura. And I've had a number of people already ask me about it, and we're going to start moving forward with that in the next week or two. I just have to get, I got to dot all the I's, cross all the T's, make sure I have all my legal framework and stuff in play. But we're moving forward with that. And really excited about that. But as a coach, one of the things that I noticed about myself is that a lot of times what I like to do is as an athlete in training and not having a coach myself is a lot of times I wake up in the morning. Now you guys were part of this in the daily podcast. This is a lot of times what I would do. I'd wait, what's today? I'm going to do hills today. I'm going to do a long bike. I'm going to do, I kind of have a rough framework of what I want to do, but a lot of mornings I'd wake up and try to figure it out on the fly. And I wanted to, especially as a coach now, I needed to have a better plan for myself. So I sat down and I drew it up. I have a calendar. I drew up my sort of taking a long distance picture. Here's where my races are. And actually now there's just one race, Marine Corps Marathon. That's where it is. Let's plan around that. And, and try to set a loose framework up from a broad perspective of how I want to approach this for the next week, for the next month, for the next year. Breaking it down into segments. And then it's, let's actually schedule the workouts. Let's schedule the workouts. And so I know what to do. I know what kind of time frame I need to have every single day, and I can get them in. I can get the workouts in. Now I'm going to be doing that more like on a weekly basis. So even today. So today is Friday. I'll probably plan out all next week's worth of workouts, and I'll do it I'll look at the framework that I have, and I'll pin it down, and I'll say, all right, this is what kind of week I need to have today and this week, and these are the workouts that we're going to do. And now I tell you, having that framework a little bit more rigidly, a little bit more solidly written down as a plan is going to help me in the long run. It's going to help me stay focused. It's going to help me stay on track. It's going to help me have goals that I can reach. As we head into Marine Corps Marathon, I have to make a choice, and I'm prepared to do it here, but I'm going to give you guys sort of like a layout of what my options are, and then you can see what the wrong thing is and the right thing is and what I want to do. So last year, DNF Lake Placid. 3 months later, I went to Hartford. I did the Hartford Marathon, and I set a marathon PR for myself, which was an amazing day. For me, I broke 5 hours, which I've never done before. I was actually like 30 seconds through 5 hours. So it was kind of like the opposite of Lake Placid, where I needed that 58 seconds. I was on the opposite side. I beat my goal by just a few seconds. I felt really good about that, and I kind of want to repeat that this year. I have Marine Corps Marathon is a little bit different course, a lot different course than Hartford. There are more hills. Now, Marine Corps isn't going to overwhelm you with hills, but they are out there. Hartford was very flat. I would love nothing more than to go to Marine Corps Marathon, get that starting line, and go after another PR. I think I could do it with my training plan. I think I could certainly accomplish that if I put my mind to it. And I think I'm in good enough shape now where I'm starting that obviously coming off Ironman that it's certainly in my grasp to set a PR at Marine Corps Marathon. And selfishly, I really, really want to do that. On the other hand, my wife, Stefany, is doing Marine Corps Marathon for the second time. We did the Marine Corps Marathon in 2015. We ran it together. It was her first marathon ever. We finished in just under 6 hours. Marine Corps Marathon is very unique. Not so unique, but unique in a few ways. And they have these areas on the course that they have cutoff times, which isn't completely unique in a lot of marathons. But in this one, it's specific because a lot of marathons will say, hey, you know what? The course closes after 6 hours, but if you want to stay on the roads, you can move you to the sidewalks. You could still do the course. We might take away the aid stations. You might lose some of the course support, but it'll still be out there. And New York Marathon especially, they will keep people at that finish line until everyone is done. There will be someone there. That is an amazing thing that they do. But a Marine Corps marathon, it's different. They actually close roads, or actually, I should say they reopen roads. And the famous one is the bridge, the Beat the Bridge, where they have to reopen the bridge and you can't cross over it at a certain time. So they leave buses there, and if they close the bridge, or excuse me, if they reopen the bridge and you get there, you got to jump on the bus. They call it the slacker bus. Well, I guess mean people call it the slacker bus. It's just a bus. But you don't want to be on the slacker bus. And the thing is, you have to beat the bridge. In order to beat the bridge, you have to average 14-minute miles in order to get there. It's at mile, I think, 19 or 20, something like that. In addition, they have something else called the Crystal City Gauntlet, and I'm not even sure that they had that when we ran this in 2015. They might have. I just, for whatever reason, Beat the Bridge is more well-known, but they do have another one at mile 22. It's the same thing. You got to average, basically, you have to average 14-minute miles until mile 22, and then you could walk the rest of the way if you absolutely have to. But if you don't reach that point by that time, your day is over and you don't get a medal. You're not a marathoner. People have cheated actually to beat the bridge. It's really kind of sick. But so that's the goal. Really, the goal is the goal is to finish, obviously. But ultimately, you need if you have an athlete that is concerned about this, you got to train up to that, because on race day you do not want to be, anywhere near that line. You'd like to get through it comfortably. You don't want to be, in the middle of your race worried about, hey, I'm on mile 20 here and I got to make it to mile 22. Otherwise, all that work I just did today is out the window. And that's just a really bad feeling. So Stefany hasn't really been training too hard up until about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. And now I'm coaching her, which has been a great experience. And I got to tell you, it's she's doing really well. It's all the coaching, of course, but she's doing really well. She is focused. Now, her father passed away about a month or two ago, and her father was a United States Marine. So was my father, actually. And it's one of the reasons why we ran the Marine Corps Marathon in 2015, kind of to honor our fathers. It was great. And we ran it together because, the Marine Corps is Semper Fi, right? Never leave anyone behind. And I remember that race. She was dying. She wanted me to go. She was saying, go finish. I don't want to ruin your time. And I stayed with her the whole time. Later on in that day, she said, actually, if you left, I probably would have quit. So I'm glad I didn't leave because she did earn her medal that day. But she knows what she's doing. She knows what she needs to do in order to finish the race. B, she has a great reason to do it. C, she's working hard. She just started a little bit late. So the thing is, here's my quandary, if you will. Do I selfishly go after my PR and leave her behind at the starting line? Or do I stay with her the entire race and do my best to make sure that she makes it through these 14-minute mile markers that she needs to make it through? I can sit there with the watch. I can help her. I can monitor her pace to make sure that she's on target but not going too fast. All those things that when you're focused and you want to kind of just work on getting one step at a time, you don't want to be overwhelmed by the math necessarily. Although sometimes it's a good distraction, but I can kind of absolve her of that so she can focus on the task at hand and hopefully get her to that place she needs to be in order to finish. So, here you go, right? That's my quandary. Some of you out there are probably saying, dude, it's an individual sport. Just go get your PR. Do it. And some of you out there are saying, I've been listening to your podcast for like a year, and this woman has supported you throughout Ironman training and has supported you through your daily podcasts and helped you out when you were on course and did all that, has just supported me greatly over the last year, 2 years, 3 years with my little Ironman fetish. And I think I kind of owe her. My dog's going nuts, but I think I kind of owe her this one. So I think I'm going to be running with Stefany this way during MCM. I'm going to train my butt off like I'm training for a PR. But on race day, I will be running with my wife, and it'll be extra special. It'll be extra special knowing that she's doing it for her dad too. She's got something to dig deep for, which I admire. And I think she's going to do well. And she's really working hard, guys. She really is. So in terms of training, I have laid it out. I'm going to work hard as if I'm going for a PR in MCM. The way I figure it too is if I get through MCM and and it takes me 7 hours, and we do it with Stefany, and it takes me 7 hours. So A, so be it, and B, if I feel like I haven't overexerted myself, there's still time to get another. Philly. I don't know if Philly is sold out, but there are other smaller marathons that I can kind of sneak in the fall if I really, really have the desire to hit that PR. That's kind of the way we're going to work it. So speaking of race season, a couple different things. Everyone, it's such an exciting time, right? Right now, everyone's starting to kind of inch up on their long runs. You're trying to build it up right before that fall. We got, Chicago, MCM, Philly, New York, all these marathons that are right in that same, Hartford. I'm going to throw Hartford in there. That's where I PR'd. All that great time. And you guys you're working so hard. I know some of you guys are getting nagging injuries. I saw, heartbreaking this morning when one of our group members tripped and fell on her 18-mile run, rolled her ankle, and had to quit at 5 miles. Heartbreaking. I don't know what to say, guys. That kind of thing really just bothers me. It hurts because I know how hard you guys work. I do. And then to have it pulled away from you in a moment. And I hope you're not injured that greatly. A lot of cases of plantar fasciitis. You know what? I saw we had a new runner doing her first marathon, and she posted a picture of an X-ray yesterday. Oh my God, I didn't even read it. I'm too sad. But I know a lot of you guys are out there working hard. Just keep working hard. Keep working at it. Be smart with those injuries. Treat them right. Go talk to a doctor. Talk to someone who knows what they're doing. A physical therapist. Work on it. It's not. It's not the end. An injury is not the end. In many ways, it could be the beginning. In many ways, it's just a little tiny stumbling block that you're still going to work hard and reach your goals that you can overcome. So just do it the right way. Figure out what the right way is. See the right people. And it's so heartbreaking seeing injuries. But I know the personalities of runners, and they don't give up, and they work through it, and eventually you'll see them again accomplishing their goals. So. For anyone who's hit those stumbling blocks, man, don't lose heart. Keep at it. I've hit them too. I had plantar fasciitis in 2018. I've had stress fracture. I've had, calf injuries and strains that have bothered me. I've tripped and fallen and scraped up hands and feet and knees and elbows and that kind of stuff. It's, a lot of people think you just go out and run miles, but sometimes you have to face this adversity. And it's sometimes, depending on your character, that's how you deal with it. So dig deep, find that character, man, and just figure out the right way to treat it, and then do it. And don't lose heart. Please don't lose heart. But it is exciting to see people as they move towards their goal this year, getting close, and kind of I can sense the anxiety and the anticipation. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful time of year. Ironman Mont-Tremblant. Let's talk about that quickly. I know I keep talking about Ironman all the time, but Ironman Mont-Tremblant is this weekend. I'm tracking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. This is kind of like, I can't believe my life is, I know 7 people doing an Ironman this weekend. Oh, I don't know Lionel Sanders. I just follow his YouTube channel all the time, and I'm rooting for him. I don't think he's qualified for Ironman Kona yet, so this is his chance to qualify for Kona. He's done it before at this race, I believe, and so I've been following him just on his YouTube channel. He's the guy that ate the 6,500 calories and still skinny. It drives me insane. But anyway, other than that, Sheila Treleaven, she was a guest on the podcast. We met her at the Mont-Tremblant half. She's doing the full this year. I'm pulling for her, man. I hope she has a great day. Michael Osborne, I think, now if I'm correct, I think I met him through Tishan Laws. We had Tishan on the podcast a few months ago. And I know I talked to him on Twitter here and there, Michael, and he's doing Mont-Tremblant. Good luck, Mike. I hope you kick ass over there. Laura Stebbins, Jen Bergstrom, 2 former podcast guests, recurring guests. We have them all the time. Jen's husband, John, is out there doing it. Man, it's just, I feel like I should be there. And Brian Rogers, who I've never mentioned on the podcast. Brian is a local guy, lives in East Longmeadow, my hometown. I run into him on the gym, and he heard the podcast, and he every once in a while he says hello, and he says, oh, I heard the last podcast. He's like, oh, you should get 3 tattoos. He tells me the other day. I saw him down at the pool. He's like, oh, get the 3 tattoos. So obviously he's been listening, but this is his first Ironman. He's going after it this weekend. I've seen him down at the gym train his butt off. I know he's got a coach who's whipping him into shape, And wish you the best of luck, Brian. Hope you hear this, and hope you do really well this weekend. Sunday, I'm so excited. Sunday at 10 a.m. I'm gonna have Grace here with her dad doing the podcast, and we're gonna be sitting here with the Ironman Tracker, tracking all our friends and all the people that we know. It's gonna be a very exciting day on Sunday. That being said, I think we're gonna wrap it up for today. I'm still working on a lot of stuff in the background. I know you guys probably see the Team Ordinary sign. We're working on that. Things are falling a little bit behind on that concept right now. I gotta say, I'm a little bit upset over it, but it's not me. I swear, it's some of the people that we're dealing with. It just delays, and I need to get on the right track. That's my problem, though, for the moment. But we're working on that. That's going to be rolled out, guys, as soon as I can. I'm working my butt off on it. It's just we've had some delays. Ordinary Marathon, the race that we've talked about the last couple podcasts, so I do want to mention it is open for registration, the 2020 race. Feel free going over to ordinarymarathon.com, register for the race. We're going to be doing a giveaway, I think, in September or October. We'll be giving away an Ordinary Marathoner medal rack that our friend Brian Burke, is that his name? Why I can't, you know what, I get old and I forget people's names. He's putting it together for us. And I'm looking forward to giving that away to one lucky winner, but you have to be registered in order to be eligible for the raffle. And, Brian Burke. Brian, I'm sorry, dude. This happens to me a lot. I think I'm getting old. Maybe I drink too much coffee and not enough water, I think, and the brain cells just aren't active. But Brian he's actually building a wooden, Ordinary Marathoner medal rack that I want for myself. But I'm going to be giving away to one lucky winner who's already registered for the Ordinary Marathon. Again, we're going to be donating money to the SAM Fund for that race in 2020. Anything else? Follow me at Twitter at OrdMarathoner, at OrdMarathoner, ORD Marathoner. Check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Go to our Facebook group, Ordinary Marathoners. Put yourself in it. We'll approve you right away. Got the coaching coming out. Contact me if you're interested. I've had a number of people already contact me. I don't know how many athletes I'm going to be able to take on, but I think I got a pretty good capacity. But I've had a bunch of people reach out to me already. I'm really looking forward to getting that underway. And that's it, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much again for your support and for all your kind words about the Ironman Lake Placid recap. Loved hearing from you guys. Even the people I didn't know. Those are the best messages. So with that, always remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.
Remember to like our video and subscribe to our channel.